Hi guys, welcome to today's lesson. Today's lesson is all about using Pythagoras to find the shorter sides of right angled triangles. Remember, with all my lessons, some of the top tips to help you get the most out of this lesson is to watch the video first without pausing it, then watch it a second time and do the work with me, and then you can pause it if you need to if I'm going too quickly. Watch the video one more time all the way through and then attempt the questions at the end before you watch the answers. Remember, don't watch the answers until you've attempted the questions. I'll tell you when to pause it. Check your answers. If your answers are all correct, amazing. If they're not, that's not a problem. Just go back, re-watch the video and make sure you don't leave the video until you've managed to get all of the questions correct. Okay, so today is the second lesson of 2 on Pythagoras. So today we're looking at how to find the length of the shorter sides of a right angled triangle. You remember in the first lesson we looked at finding the longest side, which was the hypotenuse, C. Well, today I'm going to show you how to find the two shorter sides, A or B. And remember, don't forget the challenge at the end. No point in watching this if you're not going to put your learning into practice. Okay, let's get started. I'll show you some examples. We're going to do 4 examples, and then I've got some questions for you to try. So here is a right angle triangle. Remember, we know it's a right angle triangle, so it's got the square in the corner telling us where the right angle is. And what we're trying to find here is this side. So in our first lesson, remember, we were finding the hypotenuse, C, this side, but now this question is asked us to find this side. So just like finding C, or the hypotenuse, we write our formula out. I wonder if you can remember it. So it's a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Okay, that's our Pythagoras' theorem. Then we're going to label our triangle as always. Find C first, or the hypotenuse. Remember, that's opposite the right angle. So that's C. And remember, the other two, we can label them what we want. So we've got A and B. Okay? Right, so now we're going to substitute in what we know. So we know what A is. A is 4, so it's 4 squared plus B. We don't know what B is, B squared, so that's what we're trying to find. And then C squared is 9 squared. Okay, so let's work out what we've got so far. So we've got 4 times 4, which is 16, plus B squared equals 9 times 9, which is 81. Okay, remember, you've got your calculator. You can put those into your calculator if you need to. Now, we're trying to find out what B is. So now we have to solve this equation. If you're not sure about solving, then go back and look at my solving equations lesson and then come back to us. If you're okay, obviously just carry on. So what we need to do is we need to get that on its own. So we've got to get rid of the 16. So we're going to take away the 16 from both sides. So we've got 16 take away 16 is 0. So we've got left b squared equals 81 take away 16. So let's take 81 and take away 16. 1 take away 6 we can't do, so we're going to borrow 10 from here to make it 11. 11 take away 6 is 5. And then 7 take away 1 is 6. Okay, so b squared is 65. Or, remember, thinking about it, is that square behind that side is 65 centimetres, or in this case, sorry, millimetres squared. But we don't want to know the size of the square, remember, we just want this side. So we're going to square root b squared, or 65, to find that side. I'm going to grab my calculator, and I'm going to work that out. So square root of 65 is 8.06, if we're rounding it to 2 decimal places, millimetres. Okay, so B is 8.06 millimetres long. Alright, okay, let's have a look at the next example. So same thing, A squared plus B squared equals C squared. Label my triangle up. There's C, opposite the right angle, the hypotenuse, and then remember we can label these what we want, A and B. Okay, right, so now we're going to substitute in what we know. So we don't know what A is, because that's what we're trying to find out. B squared, B is 5. And then C squared is 12 squared, because C is 12. Okay, let's write out what we know so far. 5 times 5 is 25. And 12 times 12 is 144. Okay, so we've got to solve this. We're trying to find out what A is, so we're going to take our 25 away. So let's work that out. 144. Take away 25. 4 take away 5 we can't do. So let's borrow 10 from there. 14 take away 5 is 9. 3 take away 2 is 1. And 1 take away nothing is 1. So now we've got a squared. 25 take away 25 is 0 equals 144 take away 25, which was 119. So the size of the square underneath there is 119 centimeters squared. But we don't want it. We don't want the square. We just want the side. So we're going to square root it. Put that in our calculator, and we get 10.91 centimeters. Okay, so A is 10.91 centimeters long. Okay, so that's the first two examples. We're going to do two more, and then you've got some to have a go at. Okay, so next one. Here's our triangle. It's asking us to find this side, and it's labelled it X. So we're going to write our equation out. I'm going to speed these up a little bit now. Label my triangle. So that's C. And call that A. And call that B. Whatever you want. It doesn't matter, remember. So A we don't know. So let's write down A squared plus B squared. B is 7. Equals C squared, and C is 9. Okay. Right, so let's work out what we've got so far. So A squared, 7 times 7 is 49, and 9 times 9 is 81. Okay, so we're going to solve this, remember. We've got to find out what A is, so we're going to take our 49 away. If we were to work that out, we've got A squared, that's 0, equals 81 take away 49 is 32. So the size of the square behind there is 32 meters squared. We don't want the square, we just want the length of the side, so we square root it. Okay, so grab our calculator. Square root of 32 is 5.66, rounded to 2 decimal places, meters. So A is 5.66 meters long. Okay, right, last example. A squared plus B squared equals C squared. C is opposite the right angle. Name this A, name this B. Okay, so A squared, A is 6, sorry that's upside down, it should be 6, is 6 squared plus B, we don't know, so B squared equals C squared, so C is 19 squared. Okay, right, so 6 times 6 is 36 plus B squared, because we don't know what that is, equals 19 squared. Now, I can't do that one in my head, so let's do that on the calculator. Whoops. So that's 361. Okay, right, so now we're going to get rid of our 36 to get B on its own, take it from both sides. Okay, so now we've got B squared equals 361 take away 36. So 1 take away 6 I can't do, so we're going to borrow 10. 11 take away 6 is 5. 5 take away 3 is 2. And 3 take away nothing is nothing. So B squared is 325. So that square behind there is 325 centimeters squared. We don't want the square, we want the side. So we've got to square root it. And let's do that on the calculator. And if you round it, it's 18.03 centimeters. Okay, so B, or X, is 18.03 centimeters. Okay. Right, it's time to pause the video in a minute. So I'm going to put the questions up for you. Remember, attempt all the questions, take your time. Make sure you write your formula out. Make sure you substitute in, label your triangle, okay? And good luck. Don't check the answers until you've finished. Right, here come the questions. So you've got 10 questions, okay? Make sure you write down all of the workings, because remember, workings are important because you get marks for that if you're doing a test or an exam. And good luck. Okay, hopefully you've had a go at those questions. I'm going to put the answers up for you now, so check your answers. Remember, if you haven't got some of them right, that's fine. You might need to go back and watch the video again, or check where you made your mistake. Remember, making mistakes is fine as long as you can find out why you made the mistake and put it right. So here come the answers. So all the answers are in red. So check your answers. Pause the video if you need to. Brilliant. Okay, so that's the end of that lesson. Hope you've learnt something today. That's our second lesson on Pythagoras. There's loads more videos to watch. Remember, as always, maths is about practice. Okay, and what we've learnt today is how to find the length of those shorter sides of the right angle triangle, finding A and B. So if you watch both videos now on Pythagoras, you can answer all of those questions with regard to finding the hypotenuse C, finding A, or finding B. Thanks guys, have a lovely day, and I'll speak to you soon.